Hi guys. I'm just gonna turn on like something here. I have a different setup today, in case you're wondering. I changed around like my table here, which I'm like loving. So hi guys, how you doing? Hi Kimmy. Hi. Thanks for joining. I know it's late, but I had this client come over today for this beautiful reading. I just got out of the bath, so my hair's all nuts. Um, I had this client come today, and she's like a client, but client become friend. And so usually when we sit down for a reading, we always kind of like chit chat and visit for a minute and like whatever. And like we just started kind of talking. And what was amazing is so we're in the middle of and I just saw 101 in the time, which I'm big on numbers like that. I love like synchronicities. Um, so we're talking, and I don't know how it came up, whatever it was. And I say something about, I'm like our ancestral lines and our past lives like really like affect us, in our present lives. And she's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "This isn't a regular reading." She's like, "I literally like called you today because I needed a past life reading." And I'm like, "Shut up." And the crazy part is that lately this past life, I started like I've always been interested in it, but like uh the the last week of October, I was in Arizona, and on the way to hold on, let me grab that book. On the way to Arizona, I read a entire book on the flight there. And I've always wanted to read this book. It's been in my mom's house, like it's just kind of been on the shelf, and I'm like, dude, I always want to read this book. I read the whole thing on the way there. Hold on, let me grab it. And so, sorry, thanks, guys. And I'm in my pajamas in case you didn't notice. I actually have a henna gig tomorrow, in like upstate New York at a college or whatever. So I've been trying to get on here all day long, but I had this client, and, like we visited, and like whatever. Anyways, this book right here, it's just it was phenomenal, full of information, and like really like so this is kind of how it started. Like I said, I've always been interested in it, but I read this book and I'm like, wow, that's cool. And I kind of just put it to the side and like set it down. So my client comes today. She says this, she's like, wow, it's really amazing. Like, that's what I'm coming to you for. And I'm like, get out of town. Like, that's crazy. That's amazing. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, and this is something I specialize in is like past life readings. Sorry, I'm just gonna put my hair down, guys. This is something I like actually specialize in is past life readings, subconscious readings, and like connecting with your guides and blah blah blah. So she says this. I'm super excited because I love to do these readings. I always like it's not only insight for the person, but it's like the stories that come out. I just think are like friggin' fascinating, right? And the way I do these is like we've all had many past lives. All of our many past lives affect us in ways we don't even realize. And we also carry over, like, sometimes we could be repeating patterns in our lives that are, we often wonder, we're like, why do we keep doing the same thing or the same person or like whatever? A lot of this comes from our past lives. It can also come from like ancestral and generational stuff. But our past lives we carry into the next life, and the reason we do this is because we our souls pick, we choose our familial and generational lines and such in order to, how can I say it, in order to like release what this is that we carry from the past life. Okay. And actually, this light behind me, guys, I'm going to turn it off real quick. It's distracting me, if you guys don't mind. Um, yeah, I can like see it, and it's actually maybe that was better. No, actually, this is all right, I think, right? If you guys can't see anything, just like let me know. like I said, it's kind of a new setup. I set my table up a little different. I'm in a different orientation, so just let me know if it drives you nuts. Anyways, I I did this reading for her, and the emotion involved was so deep. Like I was tearing up like during this reading, which was uh it it was a beautiful story, and because of what I know from her, just in like general conversation and stuff like that, I literally I'm like, wow, like right away she was like, and I'm moving you guys closer. Okay, I think that's good. Um yeah, just so we're like a little more towards the light here. Perfect. So she's like the way this resonates with me is amazing. And I'm not going to get into the specifics because number one, it wasn't my message. Number two, I don't ever even if I do remember something from somebody's reading, I never share it because it's not my message to share. But the emotion and feeling and depth in this reading was like I literally had goosebumps the entire time. And she actually had a job interview and she was like, I'm really excited about this job. She's like really trying to like change her life and like move into a new direction. I did a little like incense blessing for her. So when I was making it up and I'm like, when I talked to her next, because I knew she was coming back later in the day, she had to like we had to stop the reading in the middle and then she went to do this interview and she was gonna come back. So in my blessing, I was like, I pictured it, and I'm like, I'm going to hear her say, "I got the job," and that's exactly what she said. She got the job, so I was super excited. I don't know if it was my blessing or whatever. I think it was just really her. The lady loved her, and I could just like feel it. I could feel it in the energy, like when she left, and I'm like, this is gonna go great for her. It really is. I just knew it. And anyways, we did this reading, and I mean, the energy involved in this reading was so in depth and so beautiful. I literally was choking up during the whole thing. I had goosebumps up the back of my neck for the entire thing. Like my hair was literally, and that just to me is like my guides were really literally like the energy was so like how can I say it prevalent. Okay, that I like couldn't even contain it. This is just amazing. Like it was just really. And then after we were done, she was like, "Dude," she's like, "This." She's like, "I see now why I do X, Y, and Z, why I feel X, Y, and Z." Because sometimes in our past lives, we carry certain feelings or, and I don't want to say burdens, but certain things affect us energetically in certain ways that, like, we wonder in this life, like, why do I keep allowing this into my life? Or why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And this has to do with my talk today. And actually what I wrote down this morning is different from past lives, but like it was just amazing that I had this reading today because it like cemented everything into place. And I'm like, wow. And literally I have a thing early in the morning, but spirit was like, you got to get this out. So that's why I'm here and I'm here right now. Um so what I so what I wrote down this morning was, and that's what I'm looking for, guys, is just like a little like music to put on in the background here. So what I put on or what I wrote down this morning was, why do we stay in low vibration situations? Low vibration is like usually a pattern of repeating karma or finishing out a karmic lesson. It could be karma from our past, could be like karma from that we carry from our ancestors, our generational line of or familial line. But a lot of times it's karma we like, and when I say karma, it's like lessons that we didn't learn in a past life or that we have to like, yeah, what my guides are telling me is like make reparations for in this life. So in order to like learn the lesson, we have to like go through some of the same things, but we have to go through it in a different way. And our souls actually choose our familial and generational lines, our ancestral lines in this lifetime, whatever lifetime you're in. We choose it so we can learn these things and so we can clear it. Because once you know about it and once you clear it, it's done. You don't ever have to do it again. Like your soul literally never has to repeat this pattern ever again. Okay. The interesting thing about this is that we don't often attribute what we're going through. Let me turn this on. We don't often attribute what we're going through in this lifetime. We don't attribute it to our ancestors, our past life, or even our past most of the time. We just barrel through it and try to get through it, and hopefully it's done and over with, right? So let me just tell you about real quickly. And here's the thing, when I'm talking, guys, I'm talking because literally this is the channel. I will get to a tarot reading after this, but this is part of the message. Okay. So like always know, and I forget to say that sometimes when I talk in the beginnings of these videos, I know it drives some people crazy. But this is literally me relaying the message that I'm getting. Okay, and so when I woke up this morning, I wrote down, why do we stay in low vibration situations? Now, let me just tell you right here. I, in my early 20s, was married. I was married to and it was a very karmic type of relationship, like where I was really literally like going through karma that I had to like go through to release, to recognize, I had to go through it in order for my soul to be able to like learn this lesson. The relationship was terrible. I was a version of myself that I didn't even recognize at the time. So then why do we stay there? Okay. And that's low vibration, when you're like in a place where it's uncomfortable. Okay, how can I put it? And when you're in a situation where it's like uncomfortable and doesn't feel good, and like daily you don't feel good, like there, and there's usually a lot of toxicity. It could be like codependent behavior, a lot of fighting, a lot of judging, okay, things like that. It could be abusive. For me, it was abusive, emotionally, financially, and mentally. And why did I stay? Why did I stay in this low vibrational relationship? Because it was comfortable. And when I say comfortable, now let me diverge off of this for a second. It's comfortable because our brains, which is separate from our soul, okay, our brains are set up for survival. So now rewind to caveman times, and I talk about this in a lot of my videos if you guys go back. During caveman times, our brains are set up for survival. So if you veer off of the course, so if you're going to go hunt for your family and you veer off course, chances are you could be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and then you get eaten, and then nobody in your family eats, right? And then your tribe or your clan dies. So our brains have not evolved out of this yet. We keep our brains are made to keep ourselves safe. Our souls are literally light, and our souls are made to experience joy, unconditional love, happiness, miracles, abundance, all the beautiful stuff, right? The stuff that makes your soul sparkle. That's like usually how the message comes through, is the stuff that makes your soul sparkle. So then why do we stay in these relationships or these situations? Like, and it could be a job, it could be with a family member, it could be with a partner, it could be whatever. In my situation, let me tell you about my situation. So I stayed because staying was comfortable. It was comfortable because the fear of like what's out there or what isn't out there scared me more than the stability that I had. And it's not that I had stability, I didn't. Literally, every couple of weeks, and mostly around holidays, my ex-husband would literally, we could be having a great day together, and he would look down at me and he would go, and we worked together as well. We ran a gas station together, multiple. And he'd be like counting money or dealing with a customer, and he would just look at me and be like, I need you to move out tonight. And I'd be like, what? And he'd be like, yeah, I don't want to live with you anymore. And like literally just go back and like deal with the customer like he was talking about the weather. And I would go through this like stage where I would just like try to find like a place to live, and what am I going to do with my dog and my cat, and like where am I going to get the money, because I also didn't get a paycheck for the business we ran, so like I never got paid. So calling like women's shelters and things like that, like I like, and because he wouldn't even give like money for groceries. And the reason I stayed is because I was conditioned to believe like, well, first of all, nobody else would want me. What else is there for me? This is what I deserve. This is what I've been getting. So, and it's not consciously thinking this. It's like your brain falls into this habit. And even though consciously you look at it and you're like, this is fucked. Like, I deserve better. I want better. I don't like, why does this keep happening to me? Your subconscious somewhere is allowing it to happen because the synapses in your brain form this like neural pathway, right? And even though it's horrible, it's habit and it's comfortable. And it's comfortable. Our brains are plastic. Like we have this neuroplasticity. So meaning if you start a new habit and keep to it, your brain eventually will evolve out of this neural passageway, and it'll diverge and start to build new neural synapses into different parts of your brain. But when you're in situations like this, or you have been for very long amounts of time, even though it sucks, it's comfortable. So your brain will fight to keep you there, which is fucked up. Your intuition, your gut, your soul is the one that's like, get out of this. Go. You could do better, even though it's scary. Close your eyes and take the plunge, right? We stay in situations, even though it's against our own good, even though it feels shitty on a day-to-day basis, even though it like keeps our vibration and our frequency low, even though it keeps us hindered from who we really are and our real life purpose. We stay there because it's comfortable. You might have grown up that way. You might not have, but you might have become accustomed to that through life experience in some way. And our subconscious is like, our subconscious, first of all, is there to protect us. But it literally builds like little files and catalogs, okay, in order to like keep the information like, okay, well, like you were here in this situation with these kind of people and you survived. And that's good because you survived, right? Like it's survival of the fittest. The point is to survive. That's what your brain is going to tell you. If you go to this new situation that feels uncomfortable and feels like you don't know what it is or know what's in store, or like you're not sure, we're not sure what's there, so we don't know if you could survive. Your brain saying like we, meaning your brain and you, your brain and your human vehicle. We don't know what's involved in that, and so we don't even want to try because you might get hurt, you might get shut down, you might get rejected, you might lose, you might this, you might that, you might blah 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 blah. The list goes on. So my point is that we stay in patterns like this, not only out of habit, but because of karmic energy we're trying to like release and clear. Okay. And the reason our souls keep being born lifetime after lifetime after lifetime is because, like, well, I'm going to pick this family line. I'm going to pick this situation. I'm going to pick this time frame because I feel like these influences will help me come to the realization on like what I have to do in order to like release this energy. And now, so that brings me back to my reading today. I did this reading for this regular client of mine, and the messages that came out were so like beautiful, like heartfelt and deep, and ended up becoming so beautiful. But I was like choked up the whole time I was doing it. I literally had goosebumps like everywhere. And I'm like, this is crazy. She's like, girl, she's like, you won't even understand how this like correlates to like my present life and like why I do the things I do. She's like, and it was the like a total mirrored thing, like a total like message of duality. And her past life completely contradicted what she does in this life or the way this life is. It's like almost opposite. But that duality is meant to teach her, to teach all of us how to like rise above and conquer it regardless, because the lesson is still the same. And for her, the lesson was spirituality and like becoming one. Okay. And then there were all these other little like facets that kind of like tethered off from this. And she's like, wow, now I see why I do this. Now I see why I don't want this. Now I see why I don't allow this. And it literally was like so completely insightful. And it went around what I wrote down today about the low vibration situation. So I know my tangents are crazy sometimes, guys, but now I'm going to go back to what I wrote down this morning. Okay. So I'm flipping the switch. So again, why do we stay in these situations? And like I said, from my experience, I stayed because it was comfortable. Because I was comfortable because of the fear, what is out there or what isn't out there for me. So the question was for me when I was in the situation is, what if I let this go and then I end up with nothing? Scary, right? Like at that time, I rather would have been with that low vibrational, crappy energy than have been with nothing, because and that's most likely baggage I had been carrying from a past life or my past, or however you want to look at it. What if I leave and I let this go? Then the questions were, they kept going. What if no one else wants me? What if I'm not good enough for anyone else? What will I do? Now, this is where the codependency comes in. What am I going to do without money in an apartment? And it's not that I had money. I didn't get a paycheck. I didn't get paid. But I had a roof over my head when I wasn't kicked out and when I wasn't told to leave. With that little bit, like how am I going to drive a car? I won't have car insurance. I won't have this. I won't have that. According to whatever, I didn't even have work experience, because if you're kicking me out, I don't even have a paycheck to show that I worked at our gas station. What will people think? That was a big one too. Like, I married this person. It's my responsibility. It's my bed. I made it. I have to lie in it. No, you don't. Anyways, so my situation at the time, and the reason I'm saying this to you guys is because I feel like it'll resonate with somebody, and it will lead somebody to the guidance that if you're on this video now, your soul is literally guiding you here. Your guides are guiding you here. Your highest self put this in your path for you to watch. If you're watching this, you're resonating with it. You clicked on it because it resonates with you somehow. Okay. And when I say past life, that could be like past life, like past lives, or it can literally be like your past and how it affects you and like the way it like energetically either blocks you, restricts you, oppresses you. And these questions that I had, yeah, they were from the person that I was with, but why was I with that person and why was I allowing that? This comes from a past life. I'll get into that another time, but I had a past life discovery recently, and I was a healer, and I was a healer who was groomed to heal. We'll talk about it another time, but I was a healer who was groomed to heal like men through like entertainment, through being very affluent in politics and music and dance and conversation and I like had this realization and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's why I accepted such and such and such for myself. That's why I have people come to me energetically in this energy, like I'm away from my wife and kids and like talk to me. And I'm like, why do I always get this kind of energy? And I'm like, this isn't what I want. This isn't what I project. This isn't what I want. But this is like a very much a past life energy that I carry with me. And like I said, I'll go into that in another talk. But I really was like awakened to what a role in one of my past lives, and it must be a role in one of my past lives. We all have many past lives. Excuse me. But this must have been the one that I'm carrying the most from because it's affecting me in this lifetime. And now I see why, and now we see how. And once you're aware, that's the first step is into like releasing that and clearing it and healing it so you don't have to do that anymore. That's part of our karmic past. So my situation at the time, my ex-husband, his family and friends like very much disliked me, openly disliked me, like openly gossiped about me, talked about me, discussed when he kicked me out of the house, they would discuss how they would delegate my personal belongings. Well, she can't possibly all take that all with her. Well, what are you going to do with this? Well, what are you going to do with, and he would tell me this stuff after he would come back to me and say and it would always be right at the moment that I was ready to like release it. It was like energetically he knew, and he'd be like, "Oh, but I love you, and I want to be with you." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, like we're gonna be together, right?" Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. I still love other women, and I don't know. And like, just wait for me to make a decision. I'll make a decision. And I would wait. I would wait. And so then I like look back, and I'm like, well, why did I wait? That has to do with the past life that I'm talking about. Anyways, his family and friends disliked me very much. They gossiped about me. My ex-husband himself berated me like to my face, like you're this, you're lazy, you're this, you're ugly, you're old, you're that. Anything he could say to like tear me down. And I dealt with it because he would be like, well, you're lazy and you don't do this and you're lazy. And then I'd be like explaining myself and I'm like, no, 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 no. But I worked 16 hours yesterday and I'm really tired and that's why I didn't make dinner. And he'd be like, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. Look at how you leave me, blah, 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 this and that. Like I told you, he used to like kick me out just like spur of the moment. And then the expectations of what I should do, like work 16 hours and he would be like, well, wait, where's dinner? And like the truck needs to be unloaded, go unload that. And he'd be like, and because he would tell me I'm lazy, I would literally, instead of setting a boundary and being like, no, first of all, I'm weaker than you, like physically, I don't have the strength to go like lift these boxes and whatever. I literally would go do it because I didn't want to be, I didn't, I didn't want to look like I was lazy, even though I knew I wasn't. Like I literally just worked 16 hours. I built a garden. I had gone home, cooked, clean, whatever. But there was something in me where I had to like prove something. And so that feeling of unworthiness comes from somewhere. And consciously, I've thought about this and I'm like, maybe it comes from my parents, maybe it comes from, in my situation, it doesn't. For some people, it really does. But for me, this came from a past life thing. And the reason I know that is because my parents didn't make me feel like that, but then other people very early on in my life made me feel like that from a very young age. Made me feel like I was unworthy, or I wasn't good enough, or I was like an outcast, or I was just too fucking weird to even like associate, or I just decided I don't want you in my life, or I just decided we're not friends anymore. And this happened to me from like a very young age, and the same pattern kept repeating over and over and over again. Um, oh, and then the last thing is there was a lot of like when he was in the mood, he would withhold affection and feelings just like on a whim. And this happened to me a lot as a child with friends. Fucked up, right? And I remember coming home to my mom once, and I was like, so and so, like they wouldn't let me sit with them at lunch today. And my mom was like, oh, like my mom was like, and they would say this phrase, I'll never forget it. Well, I'm mad at you. And I go, why are you mad at me? And they go, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. And I'd spend all this time trying to figure out, like, what did I do? What did I do? And so that literally carried on through my entire life, like analyzing myself, like, what did I do to provoke this? What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to bring this on? And the thing is like, this isn't coming even from this lifetime. This is a wound that I feel that was carried deeply and carried on from like a past life of mine. So how do our past lives affect us? These are the ways that our past lives affect us. And me talking about myself here, it wasn't me like talking about myself because I wanted to. This is not stuff I really want to even talk about. It's not stuff I even really want to like say out loud or share. What if it helps somebody? I'm going to. And I was really guided and pushed to share it. And it's almost embarrassing and humiliating, but at the same time, because at the time, that's why I didn't share it with anybody in my life, because it was humiliating. I felt like less of a person by saying that stuff out loud. And I'm sharing it with the world right here, even though there's only one of you here. There's the potential of the world seeing this. And I'm sharing this because if it helps one person, my guides, I've served my purpose by adding value in some way. And that's what my guides wanted, was for me to add value through the pain I've gone through in order to uplift and add value to somebody else. Okay, so I am going to do a short reading, guys. And so I call them my archangels, my spirit guides, my beings of light, my ascended masters. Okay, and what deck do I want to use to bring off this message? Okay. Oops. Okay. I wish you guys could see my new setup. It's really cool. I'm trying to figure out live. I have live broadcasting software on my computer, but it's like telling me that it's not like working or something. So I used to actually do this for somebody else, but I think my computer's old. So I don't know. I'm trying to have this. Oh, 3 cards just fell out and they're like, save them. So I'm trying to have a better broadcast. Hopefully in a week I should. So this should look a lot better, and I'll be able to like show you guys like, I set up like a new like little centerpiece here. It's beautiful. And yeah. So anyways, I appreciate you guys being with me and supporting me, giving me the time, your energy, your love. I'm really so grateful for it. And without it, I really wouldn't be doing this. Like my heart and my soul, thank you very much. Okay, and actually, because I'm doing this, let me just see if this helps. I have a tiny little ring light. You could totally use like, let me see, one more. I'm gonna try to order one from Amazon one of these days. Okay. I don't even think that made a difference, but whatever. Makes me feel better. Okay. Okay, so what is our message for everybody out here today? Don't we save those for later? Okay, so I have the Queen of Pentacles here with the Ten of Swords or Ten of Spades. Wow. Okay, so and energy is just energy, guys, not gender specific. So the Queen is just the energy that's out there collectively, but it's like about being like nurturing, self-sufficient, abundant, generous. Okay, very grounded kind of energy. But even though this Queen of Pentacles is grounded in this very grounded energy, we have the Ten of Swords or Ten of Spades right here, which is like kind of like okay. I'm getting that like because this is in the reverse. It's like there's like mental conflict that wants to be dropped or like let go. Mental confusion. This typically can mean like somebody. Okay, what I'm getting in this, they're telling me a new way of thinking. So, like, whatever attachment and belief that you might have had to like this stable, like whatever stability was for you or is for you, they're showing me here that there's like a change in the belief, a change in the thought pattern. Like, it's like letting something die that doesn't serve you anymore. Okay, it's like whatever a belief or a certain thought process was, it's like being dropped. Okay, because we have a passionate new beginning here with the Ace of Wands. So this is to me is like something that is like makes your soul sparkle. It's something that can be spiritually connected. We also have this in reverse though. So what I'm being told is that in order to maintain this energy of the Queen of Pentacles, to be nurturing, being able to manifest, being abundant, being independent, being grounded in the physical world, you have to let go of the things that like have clouded your beliefs. Okay, so like beliefs that you might have carried, such as I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, what happens, like what's out there. It's almost like releasing anxiety of like what if I'm not good enough, what if I'm not this, what if I don't, you know, what if I'm alone for a little while? What if I'm whatever? It's like drop this because if you don't, you're gonna pass up this like passionate new beginning that makes your soul sparkle. So you have to drop these like old patterns and old beliefs. And when I say old patterns and old beliefs, rewind back to what I was just saying about like why I didn't leave that marriage. Don't accept so little for yourself because your brain, because your logical mind is like, oh no, we want to survive and we're scared and we want you to like, even though it's a shitty place to live or even though it's intermittent, it's still a place to live. Had I listened to my heart and my spirit and my soul, I would have been like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Instead of you like instead of every Christmas, every Mother's Day, every birthday, every Valentine's Day being told, I want you to move out and panicking and calling women shelters, I would have just literally just been like, you know what? Thanks. Bye. But our brains are meant for survival and they're meant to keep us in a pattern, even though it's shitty feeling and keeps us low vibrational. Our brain and our mind will literally keep us there out of habit. But when you start to nourish, when you start to nourish and nurture new habits, That's what'll grow in your brain. And the more you do it, the more practice you get, the more comfortable it is. And then your brain literally starts to recognize, like, oh, this is now comfortable, feeling good, feeling secure, feeling abundant. This is now comfortable. So now I'm allowed to do this. Now I will allow it. And your logical mind will match up with your emotional body. It'll match up with your intuition. It'll match up with your soul. But it takes practice, guys. So even though something feels uncomfortable to get out of, even though leaving that low vibrational situation, whatever it is, family, work, home, partners, friends, even though your brain's like, no, 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 don't do it. Who's going to like you after this? Who's going to take care of you after this? Who's going to help you after this? Understand that all that good, if you are in a low vibrational situation, all that is good is outside of that shit that's holding you back. And the more you do it and the more practice you get, the more high vibrational you become, the more secure you feel, and then the more generous you feel to give to others. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. When I was in that situation, I literally was, and you guys might not believe this, but I was not nice. I was full of fear all the time. I was angry so much. I was resentful. I was hateful to others. I was so far from who I really am. I wouldn't accept love or anything from anybody. I was so far from my true self. And if you guys enjoy these videos or you enjoy what I say, this is who I really am. This is who I was when I was a child. This is who I was when I was born. This is who I was when my soul picked this vehicle for this existence on earth. This is my essence. So don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for all that, because had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be this version, this authentic version of myself. This is the true version. But had you guys met me at the time that I was married to that person, you wouldn't have recognized a thing about me. I didn't recognize a thing about me. I didn't even realize that I didn't recognize a thing about me until after I started clearing a lot of this and healing and letting it go. And my authentic self started to come back, and I was like, that's not me. Like, that wasn't me. I didn't even know it at the time. I didn't know that wasn't me. I just knew that I was angry a lot. And I was resentful a lot. And I was scared a lot. Okay. They're telling me to pick 2 more cards. And then we're going to go to that pile that fell out. And yo, whoever's sticking with me right here, thanks. All my love. All my love to all of you, anyways, if you watch this, if you share it or whatever. But literally, whoever, like, I literally have, like, one soul who, like, kind of goes the distance with me, and I love you for that. As I speak of that, thanks. My guides are so fucking cool. Going the distance with me. The 6 of Pentacles is reciprocating energy in the physical. It's equal give and take. So where you've given and you've done the work and you've healed and you've understood, like, why those patterns aren't serving you anymore, why you have to release them, you've examined things, for all of those little baby steps that you've taken, the universe is going to repay you every single one. They're going to like match you dollar for dollar, is the message I'm getting. Like, we're matching you dollar for dollar. Okay. And because the universe is matching you dollar for dollar, they're literally extending an offer to you, an offer of heartfelt tenderness and love and support. And because when you're in the Six of Pentacles energy, like willing to give as well as receive, because by doing your healing and doing the work and recognizing like the things inside you that like need work, right there, that's healing. Okay. I think when people say healing, people get overwhelmed. The fact that you recognize it, that like, wow, like it's those little epiphanies too. You're like, this is why I do what I do, or this is why I think the way I think, or this thing affected me now. That is healing, guys. This is like, in case you didn't know, healing isn't some big fucking production. It's literally like that right there is healing. Okay. So the fact that you're recognizing these little things, the universe is going to match you dollar for dollar. But the universe also wants you to be ready to receive the dollar for dollar. So it's one thing that you're giving your $3, but the universe is like, we're going to give you $3 for every $3 you put in. But we want to make sure that you're ready to receive what we have to give you, because it's out of love and it's out of self-love. Self-love. You have to love yourself enough to know that you deserve this. And you always have deserved it. I remember a point like 6 months ago, I was like in the bath and I'm like, I love baths. I like could like sit there forever. I'm a mermaid. But I was sitting there and like I was like washing my hair and I was like listening to something and I was like, I got teared up and I'm like, I found my magic again. There's that Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams, and there's that old man, and he's like, they're like, what are you looking for? And he's like, I've lost my marbles. And they're like, what do you mean your marbles? And he's like, I've lost my marbles. And at the end of the movie, he finds this bag of marbles and he begins to fly. And that was his happy thought. And that was like, for me, like that's kind of what that was representative of. I'm like, I found my magic. Like I found like, maybe not totally a year ago, but I was like on the way and found, or at least the key for the door. And it's funny, I bought this in Arizona, this key. Keys are like very significant to me for some reason recently. And it was like, I found the key. I found my magic again. And I know where it is. So that's what the universe is saying here. Like, they're going to give you that key. And when you find your magic, that's when the abundance comes in. That's when, like, the wish fulfillment comes in. But you have to be allowing to receive it. You have to understand that you deserve it, that's your right. That's who you really are, is deserving of it. You are deserving to give a little, get a little. You're deserving of that. Even though in this lifetime it may have seemed like that's not how life is, or that only happens to other people, the universe is telling you, look, just accept the fact that you're going to get a little for every little bit that you give, right? And it's about letting go of these beliefs that you don't deserve it. It's about letting that go. Like, that may have been how it was in the past, but you could be this Queen of Pentacles. And remember, it's just energy. So whether you're masculine, feminine, male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the energy of being receptive. But you gotta let that old patterning go. Like, you gotta let that, like, oh my God, like maybe nobody will like me. Oh my God, maybe if I go talk to that person, no, they will reject me. Oh my God, if I go apply for that job, I won't get hired because I'm this, or that. get rid of that, because that new passionate beginning is never going to begin for you. You got to be in the receptive energy. And the universe is literally trying to like give you like all the love. So now I'm being told what go to these. Yeah. So we have the Five of Wands, which is like conflict, competition, feeling like there's competition. And I'm going to go back to where I was in that situation. I felt, because my ex-husband slept with anything, I literally felt like any other woman was like my competition, and I had this like dark energy towards them, which I hate to even admit it, but I did, because I was in a karmic energy. It was there to teach me a lesson, and I stayed there. I could have left, but I stayed because I had to learn the lesson that way. I wouldn't have learned it any other way. So what the universe is saying is like anything that feels like competition, or like how can I explain it? Like envy, or like I need this and why do they have it and I don't, or you know, like I'm gonna make this work because I am, or like or I'm gonna conquer this toxic situation out of pride. Like it's about like knowing when to like let go, step away, and like break the chains. Okay. Because not a little like healthy competition is okay, because it like makes you strive to work harder, right? That's what this Eight of Pentacles is. It makes you strive to work harder. What this Five of Wands right here is like conflict. It also represents like devil energy, like being bound to something, staying in a situation. Like I told you, I could have left a million times. I should have, but I was like, nope, I'm gonna make it work. What will people think of me? I made my bed. Now I have to lie in it. That is unhealthy. That's unhealthy. And I've been guided to use myself as the example, because I'm human. I'm a soul in a human body. And my soul did that literally to teach me a lesson, to show me my purpose. And it was uncomfortable. Jeez, for me to get to this point, it's been uncomfortable. But I can't tell you how grateful I am. I am more grateful than you'll ever know. I'm like inherently joyful and peaceful. And I'm abundant. And I see miracles all the time. And isn't that what we always want? It's worth the what's the word? It's worth the discomfort. Because the devil energy is always going to show you what's luxurious and what's comfortable, right? It's going to show you like, stay here, it's comfortable, it's easy. It's easy, but it's unfulfilling, because you look back and you're like, wait, I literally feel like I just traveled all this way to turn around and look back, and I'm like in the same spot. I'm still bound to the same spot, the same energy, the same people, the same situation. All right. So the universe and your guides are telling you, let go of that. It takes hard work to let go of it. But in the end, you have this new beginning. This new beginning where you've learned so much. And you're going to get like a new offer in the physical world because of it. Like the new offer is like a new way of being. You've learned so much and you're like, I don't want to go back there. That's ridiculous. Why would I go back there? I was stuck. It was toxic. I felt bad. I felt small. I felt unfulfilled. I felt lonely. I felt sad. I felt angry all the time. I felt resentful. They're saying, do the work. Do the work. Like, put the work in. Because again, Your brain will keep you where it's comfortable, where there's as little work as possible. Your brain is under this like notion of like work smart, not hard. Your soul is like work hard. Work hard to release yourselves from these things. Put the work in. Examine things, observe things. Your brain doesn't want to examine things or observe things because you have to go through deep, dark feelings. And that's hard and it sucks. But when you come out on the other side, you're like, we are the champions, my friends. You're like singing a fucking song. I never sang songs like that when I was in that situation. I went through all these terrible feelings, but I never came out feeling like that. Once I started putting the work in, releasing this kind of shit, and it's competition with your brain even. It's not even just competition with that person or the situations or the other people involved. That's not necessarily what it is, which it could be. It could be that. But it's like competition with your brain. It's like your soul's competition with your brain. Your soul's like, no, 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 let's be magical. Let's go here. Let's be healed. Let's be loving. Let's have miracles. Let's have joy. Your brain's like, no, but it's cold out there. I don't want to. Fuck your fucking brain. No, I live here, and even though it's shitty and like my partner and I fight all the time, even though I hate this fucking job and I feel like totally drained every time I go there and I fight with everybody there. It's money, it pays a bill. And your soul is like, no, 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 but your purpose. And you could do this and it makes your soul sparkle. And all you got to do is just put a little extra work in, just a little extra work. And look at, we've learned so much and we can do so much and we can bring this into the physical, right? But the devil's like, no, stay with us. It's comfortable. You might be happy for a minute, but it's an illusion. The devil card is always illusion. You're going to be in competition with yourself, in conflict with yourself. Your soul and your mind are going to be in conflict. You're going to be in conflict with other people. The work, the hard work, is going to be so much harder. And the longer you stay there, the longer it's going to take to learn and put it into practice. The more you're going to have to like literally put into like learning and changing. Because here's the thing with the universe. The longer you take to get rid of this energy, and the harder you try to stay there, the universe will literally make the work harder and harder and harder. But eventually, you're going to get rid of it either way, because then that's where the divine steps in. And they're like, all right, enough. We gave you enough chances. Move it or lose it. And if you don't do it in the small way, they're going to make it in the big way. And it's going to be the way that just sucks. If you think it sucked until now, it's going to suck so bad, but they want it to be like the end of the end of the end of the end because they don't want you to go back to that. They want you to be in your true essence. They want you to be in alignment with love, joy, miracles, accepting love, receiving love. There was a really long time that I didn't feel that I deserved love. I couldn't even accept it from people. People would try to like help me with little things or like give me little gifts, and I was like, no, thanks. I appreciate it, but you don't have to do that. That right there, like that makes that person feel bad. I thought I was like doing them a favor. They wanted to give me something out of their heart. I remember he's my most favorite person in the world. When we first started dating, he used to say to me, "You're perfect." And it scared the fuck out of me because all I could think is like, anytime any man ever said that to me, at some point they realized that I was like a human with like feelings and thoughts. And then they realized I wasn't perfect. And I was like scared to death that that was what was going to happen with him. So I did. I broke up with him. I broke up with him like multiple times. He would say things like beautiful things like, "You're made for me. We're made for each other." And I'd be like, even though I felt it, I was like scared to admit it because I didn't want to believe it because I didn't want to get hurt. And now I look back and I'm like, oh my God. But you know what? I was meant to do that, and it was meant to happen that way in order for me to be where I am now and realize like how I can adjust my course. And if anything, guys, what this talk is about right now is course correction. If you feel like you're on this path that I'm talking about, or if you're traveling further and further down this rabbit hole, Spirit is asking you now to do a course correction. Okay? Put the hard work in. Go where no man has gone before, because yes, it's uncomfortable, but nothing good ever came to anybody who stayed standing still or went backwards. Okay. And I didn't mean to like get choked up with you guys or emotional, but like sometimes Spirit says things into me in a certain way that's it's supposed to make an impact, you know? My guys were like, hopefully you cried too. That's fucked up, right? Communion. And Archangel Raphael is the healing of the heart chakra. And it's about like communing to that, like making the pilgrimage within yourself to your essence, going back to who you really are. Okay. It's about allowing that heart to open back up freely to unconditional love. Usually, unconditional love is easier to give to other people, to our children, to our friends, our family, whatever. Unconditional love means love without restriction, without contract, love without, like, somebody could be like, I hate your guts, and you'd be like, that's okay, I still love you, and like mean it. Love without conditions, whether somebody loves you back or not, you still wish all of that for them. And I'll tell you, I pray for that for my ex-husband all the time, because if he finds that love, he might stop treating people the way I got treated. And in turn, unconditional love for myself means that I will never treat people the way I did when I was with him ever again. I'll never do it ever again. But it's communion with yourself. It's communion with the divine. And for some of you, it could be communion with another person. Okay? But it's like communion with your essence. And it's that opening of that heart chakra. And if you need help, call very simple, Archangel Raphael. Please help me open my heart. That's it. Sorry, it's just the way it came through the energy. Okay. Archangel Haniel. It takes courage to do this. And it does. Like I said, going outside of your comfort zone telling your brain, shut the fuck up, and like listening to your soul. It takes an extreme amount of courage, and the courage comes from your root chakra. That's why the color is red. So again, you can look it up on YouTube or call out to Archangel Haniel. Archangel Haniel, please help me put my root chakra in alignment. Your root chakra is where courage comes from, safety, stability comes from. Wow, I don't know why these messages are hitting me hard like this today, guys. Because when you do that, guys, Zafkiel is there, and then you reach ecstasy. Ecstasy, yeah, could be with another person, but ecstasy in life is just like joy, abundance, manifestation, miracles, seeing the beauty, seeing the joy, like living every day, like literally not living in that place of resentment or victimhood. Why does this have to happen to me? Why does everybody else get everything good? That's envy. Let me get as much as I can, so then that way, like, ecstasy is like being without that. It's being free, it's being expansive, it's being weightless. It's like literally just enjoying, like, yo, I'm so grateful for everything I have today. I'm grateful for all the shit I've gone through, because look at who I am now. I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z because it led me to A, B, and C. I'm grateful for that ending because it led me to this beginning. I'm grateful that I was with that person or spent that time with this person, that person, because now I know what I want, and now I know what I see in such a, in so and so. Now I know what I see in this person, and now I know why they're good. Now I know why I'm good. Now I know why I don't belong in a certain place, situation, relationship, job, and I'm cool with it because I'm not a failure. I learned a lesson. I did the best I could. And I'm going to keep going and keep doing the best, because the best is the best, and feeling like ecstatic about it. Ecstatic because, yo, you're here to do it. They're telling me one more card and that's it, guys. And then I got to go. I have to get up early. It's 2:21. I love that. And I appreciate you guys, your heart, your love, your support, your energy. I couldn't do this without you, and I am grateful for you. I find the ecstasy in whoever this helps. Whoever this helps. Ecstasy is like pure joy, pure abundance, pure energy. And, oh, geez, that flew out of my hand. Understand that divine intelligence, that's part of your soul picking this lineage, picking these circumstances in order to heal past karma, past trauma, past life. See the book there? It's like your Akashic record. Hi, Champagne. Thank you for joining, sweetheart. These are beautiful. These are the Angels of Atlantis. It's one of my favorite oracle decks. Oh, there we go. Yeah, but these are beautiful. Anyways, divine intelligence. So again, your highest self picked this. Your highest self is navigating this. Wherever you are right now, you're supposed to be, but it's what you do with it. Okay? It's what you do with it. And the moment that you become aware, which if you're on this reading right now, your divine self, your highest self, your guides have literally led you to this. And the moment you become aware of this energy and this message, you're already on the road to healing. And you're already literally like on your way. And you're already like in the middle of doing that work. Which, like I showed you, it was, where is it? You're already on your way. Okay? The Eight of Pentacles. You've been doing the work. All right? And when you start doing the work, you're going to get that Six of Pentacles. You've been putting the 3 in. The universe is going to give you dollar for dollar. But you got to let that unworthiness feeling go. And being like staying somewhere where, yeah, okay, you might have money, you might have a home, but like you feel unworthy. You don't feel like yourself. You feel like a lesser version of yourself. You feel like an inauthentic version, a fake version. You feel like this is not how life should be. Then that means you shouldn't be there. It's divinely orchestrated. All right, kiddos, I love you with my heart and like literally with my soul. You make my soul sparkle. Doing this for you guys makes my soul sparkle. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I love you. And I'm going to Jamestown, New York tomorrow to do henna on a bunch of college students. So I'm going to get going. And I love you guys. And if you guys ever want to like check out stuff, I have like little things on my Goddess page, Facebook. I do personal readings. I did a past life reading earlier today, which like blew me away and my client. So if you do want to book a reading, all information's in the description below. I'm in the middle. I'm actually doing a website. I started designing it yesterday. So I will be like a normal human being and like have a website and all that. But I love you guys. All my love, my heart and soul to you. Okay? Good night. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.